Hello and welcome to another video from My Random Hobbies, and as you can probably tell from the title of this video, I have done my first driving job, so I thought I'd tell you all about it. Let's get into it. Okay, so as you'll know from my previous video, I am still in the process of getting my HGV license, but I was offered a job as a van driver, which I took and have done my first job, if you like, yesterday. So the job was driving a Luton van, and for those of you who don't know what that is, you've maybe seen one driving up and down, perhaps for hire, that people have rented to move their own furniture or something like that. It's that style of box van, almost like a Ford Transit but with a great big box on the back. I'll fling up a picture on screen so you know what I'm talking about. So this job had me setting off at, well, say setting off, I had to arrive at the depot at 5:30 in the morning. So obviously getting up a little bit before that to travel to the depot to pick up the van. I then got a bit of a sort of a briefing because it was the first job, so handing over the keys, that sort of thing, making sure I understood how the tailgate worked and stuff. So that took a little less than half an hour really, and then handed the keys, did my sort of walk round check, and off I went. And the job was to pick up a load at Manchester. So from Leeds I had to go to Manchester. So again, at that time of morning, little to no traffic really on the roads. Straight run straight down to the M62 and along to Manchester, and then round on the M60 to pick up. So I picked up my load, which was 6 pallets. And those 6 pallets were heading to a store in London, central London. So again, a relatively straight run, straight down the M6. Then I took the M40, A40, because that took me right into central London without having to sort of mess around with the M25 or sort of cut through from the M1 through London that way. So it was a really sort of straightforward run there. And again, the sort of whole process of picking up and dropping off pallets was new to me. Obviously, it's the first time I've done a sort of the driving job like this, but it was great to know that, you know, the people who were at each location kind of knew what they were doing, and particularly the pickup, where I had to put the pallets on the truck. I was having a little bit of trouble sort of maneuvering them into place, and the guys there were really helpful in terms of helping me load the pallets in the right sort of orientation, and then sort of giving them a bit of an extra shove with forklifts so that, you know, I could maneuver them a little bit easier onto the truck itself, onto the van. So that was good. And then obviously at the other end, again, not knowing the sort of ins and outs of loading bays and all that sort of thing, I had to reverse up to a loading unloading dock, and the first one I was positioned at, the gentleman told me actually no way, I wasn't going to do it on that one because the height of the van was different to the loading bay, and it just wasn't going to happen. But 2 loading bays down, they had one that adjusted and sort of ended up with a sort of metal plate that came down on the tailgate, which allowed me to wheel things straight off. So really helpful to have these people knowing what they're doing, and obviously I'm learning as I'm going through, which was really, really good. So I did obviously strap the load up, making sure it wasn't going to move around in the van while I was driving around, obviously using the tailgate. Once I completed the drop-off, I then had to get out of London and head back north, which was straight up the M1 to Leeds again. So all in all, yesterday I was about 11 hours in total from yard to yard, start to finish. And in that time, there's probably a little under 9 hours worth of driving total. So the other sort of 2 hours were spent either loading, unloading, or having breaks and rests, which is right to do so. So all in all, my day from sort of start leaving home to getting home was probably, it was around about 12 hours-ish, possibly a little bit more, but about 12 hours. So for me, in a comparison to my previous work as a deputy head teacher, the day length is equivalent, really, approximately the same day length, but my interaction with people, the sort of stresses that brings, or can bring, should I say, completely different, completely. And I know you hear people talking about, trucking and waiting and the loading and the unloading and what a pain it is. Yeah, that was probably, certainly the loading part, the most stressful part of my day. Literally, that was the most stressful part of the day, which lasted maybe half an hour. So I'm having sort of 20 minutes, half an hour stress. And then the rest of the time, the stress level really is then perhaps anxiety. Certainly for the first, it's the first time I've done this as a job, driving things up and down the country, and you want to make sure that everything's right. And I want to continue to do that. But so there's the pressure of looking out for traffic and making sure you're doing everything properly and you're not going to knock anything, hit anything, scrape anything, etc., etc. So that probably had its own sort of stress levels. But again, it's not in the same league as the sort of stress levels that I was facing in my other job. So far, I know it's only one day, only one job, but so far it's looking like this is a good thing, and that's something I'm going to hopefully enjoy moving forward. And again, it's really pleasing to talk to the people that I am working for, and hearing how they want to support me through my process of getting my qualification, making sure that when I need the time, I've got the time, and they're not booking me in for anything, so I'm not letting them down in that sense, which is good. And again, when I talk about letting them down, I'm self-employed technically here. They're sort of leasing or hiring my services, rather than sort of employing me as a part of their company, if that makes any sense. But I feel that, loyalty is important, and they're giving me a shout, and I want to make sure that I do the same for them, and I'm loyal to them. So that's where we're at the moment. It was a really positive day, and when I came home, that was it. The work was done. I didn't have any other work to do as a result of that work in the day. I could leave it behind, which doesn't happen in teaching at all. So great stuff. I will keep periodically updating with more information on how my journey is going to becoming an HGV driver. The next video regarding this, probably, unless something amazing happens in between, probably will be sort of mid to late January, once I've done my class 2 training and test, and fingers crossed I'll have positive news that I will have passed that first part, and then be moving on to get my class 1. And again, I've talked previously about why I'm doing it that way, rather than jumping straight from car to class 1, which you can now technically do in this country. Okay, well, I hope you've enjoyed that little update. Please do subscribe, like, follow, all those good things, because, as I say, that way you'll not only hear about my continuing journey, but also just, it helps me a little bit in terms of giving me a feeling that I'm doing this for something. I enjoy doing it. It's sort of cathartic. Is that the right word? Do you know what I mean? It's therapeutic in a way to do these videos. So, and I'm certainly not at any close stage to monetizing and making any sort of money from this sort of thing. So it's purely an interest, a hobby, if you like. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again soon for another video. Take care for now. Bye bye.